Hey everybody, Nick Bader, Lademan Insurance Agency, and also known as Insurancenick.com. All right, so today in my segment, I'm going to talk about commercial auto policies. And it's really near and dear to my heart because, well, frankly speaking, I drive around a 2016 Dodge Ram. Now, it's a nice 2500, blah, 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 blah. The big deal is, I've got this thing wrapped with Insurancenick all over it, and it's a big truck, and it gets great exposure and great advertising dollars. I mean, let's face it. Right now, it's sitting there parked in front of my office. It's working. It's parked in parking lots throughout the downriver community when my daughter's playing volleyball. It's still working. That truck never turns off. In front of my house, it's still working. And a lot of guys that I know that have vehicles, they're putting their own advertising on there, and they're not sure even if they're properly insured. You see, I have a business endorsement on my policy to make sure that I'm protected. But do you? And that's the question. A lot of guys that are in the skilled trades, they're using their vehicles to go back and forth to offer a fantastic service to Southeast Michigan. They can be working in Plymouth and Canton, Novi, Brighton, Royal Oak or Wyandotte or Southgate, Woodhaven. It doesn't matter. They're all over Southeast Michigan. They're offering a fantastic service to people, doing it in a very competitive way, but yet they don't realize that if they were to get into an accident and they've got Joe's Plumbing on the side or something like that, that they could potentially be violating the insurance policy that they're currently paying for. I know a lot of these guys, and they are hard workers, but when it comes down to it, you really don't know who to trust. So I'm trying to give people enough information that maybe you know a contractor. Share this podcast with them. Share this YouTube video with them. Get it out there and just say, hey, make sure you're covered. And I don't necessarily care what state you're in. I don't care what circumstances you're in as a whole. Just get a policy to make sure that your family's protected. God forbid something happens. We're not talking about you doing something wrong. I'm talking about when you're driving down the road and somebody pulls out in front of you because they're not paying attention. I mean, those circumstances, you don't want an insurance company to come back and tell you you're not covered. I had a great question come in from a young lady that's running a cake business from home. And I'll share her story real quick. She submitted one of the contests that we had going on for the BlackRock gift card that was over in Woodhaven. And the question she submitted was, I run a small cake business from my residence. Great, wonderful, good for you. In the state of Michigan, you can run what's called the Cottage Law and run a small bakery from your home, especially for contract basis, right? So good for her. She's working around the process to make sure she's making as much money as she possibly can for her family. Congratulations, that's the American dream. However, she asked the question if her auto was covered or if she can put advertising on her auto. The first knee-jerk reaction I have at this point is probably not, and let me explain why. If you have a standard policy with, say, Allstate, State Farm, AAA, and or just even a personal lines policy in general, there's the fine print, the stuff that's in the backside that nobody really reads, that will tell you that if you're using your vehicle for delivery purposes, chances are you're not covered. This goes for the local 16-year-old that's driving and delivering pizzas for a place. From a liability perspective, he's probably not covered. God forbid if he has an accident and he's trying to get full coverage on his vehicle, chances are that's not going to be covered either unless the pizza shop's going to pick it up. You see, these are all innocent things that happen to us in the local communities because we're just trying to make ends meet and make a few bucks. But we don't realize what exposure's sitting out there. So that's kind of where this comes in. I want you to share this information out there for people. So here we're going to go back to our local cake maker. And she's going to make a fantastic wedding cake. It's going to be beautiful and it's going to be worth every penny that's spent on it. She's going to go ahead and get it all boxed up and packaged up and make sure everything is just taken care of and all the I's are dotted and T's are crossed and it looks amazing. The bride is going to be ecstatic. So she takes that boxed up cake and she's going to drive it to deliver it to one of the local venues where the wedding is going to be held for the reception. On her way over there, she's got advertising on the side of her van. And on the side of her van, it says, I don't know, Darcy's Cakes. And that's fantastic. And she's driving it to the location. Something happens, her phone rings. It's the bride who's in a panic and says, "You're late." And she said, "No, I'm not late. I'm right on time. I'm right around the corner." And she pulls around the corner and bam, she hits somebody. The car was sitting there, it was parked and wasn't ready for her, so she actually strikes her vehicle. So it's a horrible circumstance, it's a horrible situation. Is she covered? Well, technically at that point in time, she is working on behalf of Darcy's Cakes. Not just Darcy's Cakes, but she's delivering for profit a product that she has made to a consumer that's waiting for her product. The bad thing is, at that circumstance, that using your vehicle for delivery purposes just doesn't cut it. You can read most insurance policies out there, and I challenge you to just make sure, if you're in business, that you're asking your company that you're currently paying your insurance premiums to, am I covered? And get that official answer. Because God forbid something happened like this. Now, this is all fake and fictitious. I guess I should put in the disclaimer that nobody that I've discussed in this topic has been injured in an accident, or no claims are pertinent at this point in time, however you want to look at it. Those nice disclosures that we have in our society today. But regardless, I'm trying to paint a circumstance or situation that is completely innocent, that happens on a daily basis to people, and they don't realize that they're really jeopardizing the longevity and the financial future of their family. You know, God forbid if something happens like that and you actually strike somebody as an individual that's walking across the street or in a parking lot or whatever the case may be. Financially, that could be totally crippling to your family 100%. At least with a commercial auto policy in place, you're going to be protected in those circumstances. So, I know I've kind of rambled on, but I wanted to give you guys some scenarios and something to really chew on that's value added, that's going to give you good content, that you can take this information and share it out to others. And again, we're on podcast. You see the Insurancenick on YouTube channel. You've got our Facebook page. Obviously, you can look up either Lademan Insurance Agency on Facebook, or you can look up Insurancenick. In both places, we try to make sure that we have this information so you can easily grab it, tag it, share it back out to others. You can check us out at on Twitter at InsurancenickB. That's Bader, obviously. So InsurancenickB. Instagram, same place, like that. You can also grab the link for our podcast right off of our website, which is lademaninsurance.com. That's L-A-D like David, E-M-A-N, insurance.com. So again, thanks for tuning in. I appreciate it this week. You guys have a wonderful and blessed day. Bye.